Good evening, North America. Welcome back, everybody, to yet another match here in the 5-digit United States Cup 2026. In the round of 16, this is going to be the winner's bracket matchup between Seed 8 Michigan A versus Seed 9 Indiana A. Both teams coming off of very dominant victories in their respective matches in the round of 32. Both of them 5-0ing their opponents, so this should be an exciting one. On paper, these teams quite evenly matched, and I am looking forward to this one. My name is Liliana. I will be joined in the casting booth by our lovely streamer and caster, Bless. How are we doing tonight?
Good evening. We're doing pretty good. I've been looking forward to this matchup basically this entire week. Michigan versus Indiana, the closest match in terms of seeding in the upper bracket of the Major League this week. Of course, Seed 8 versus Seed 9, and also just an interesting storyline between some of the players on these teams as well. You know, looking at JT Cantwell and the other bubble, very long-tenured players on the side of Indiana, and then also playing the 5-digit World Cup B team last year for the United States. And then you look at the other side of the aisle, their old teammate from just a few months ago, Atara, coming up through the 5-digit scene in this past year in a bit of a blaze. You know, he started off DNQing for AIDS 2 even, was not able to play 5USC due to being just out of the rank range in 4-digit land. But decayed in time for AIDS and didn't qualify, and then went on a really big improvement arc. Some of you might remember his performances in the scrims, getting into the red lobbies pretty early on, and putting up some really good performances there, ultimately culminating in his appearance on the 5WCB team. Of course, it is not just Atara in the squad. In fact, the leader is none other than a longtime Michigan captain, Memesicle, back for his third year in a row, accompanied by Twisty, his second-hand man, and Soboy, his third-hand man, for 3 years in a row as well. But yeah, we are into the roles here and the picks and bans, as I will have to go through that, and maybe you would like to talk a little bit about them while I go ahead and input them into the UI.
Yeah, sure. I mean, both these teams... actually, no, not both of them. Indiana, at the very least, had a team for every iteration of 5USC. It started in 2022 is when the very first iteration happened. Michigan did have a team in 2022, but surprisingly, Bless, 2023, they did not have a team. They didn't have enough people to sign up, I believe, and so that is the only year that Michigan has where there was not a Michigan team for them. That said, both these teams have gone through quite a few changes, albeit there have been some players who have consistently been on the teams the whole time. But right now, it's looking like Fortisay being the only player that has played in every iteration of 5USC for both of these teams. There have been a couple other players that have played for most iterations, but not every. And so it's exciting. It's got a lot of nuance to it. You know, all these players, they know each other, and we are doing picks bans already here. We've already seen the Hard Rock 1 ban come through from Michigan, and that is partly because Indiana, they've got some pretty good mechanics Hard Rock players. I'm looking at the captain specifically being, you know, the Hard Rock guy in JT Cantwell, and of course Fortisay as well. You've got like Marvin Frags, the other bubble. You could fill on those, and it is a very much respect ban from them. But yeah, for Michigan, you know, one of their pillars and on their teams has been their captain Memesicle, who, you know, despite Michigan not having a team in 2023, Memesicle's been on every single team otherwise, so 2022 and then 2024 to now, and has also been captain for Michigan for the past 3 years now. So like these are 5USC veterans, as well as you know, just generally friends with each other. So you know, they're not going to go easy on each other, but they probably will have a little bit of fun. I know there was some friendly banter before we went live, and you guys could see the lobby chat. But already here, Bless, it looks like we got the Hidden 2 DT3 bans coming through from Indiana, and that very much, I do have a little info on at least one of those. They just don't like their scores on Hidden 2. Not necessarily that they think that Michigan is stronger on them, which I actually do think Michigan is stronger on that hidden 2 than them. But for that ban specifically, Indiana, they're saying that they just did not feel comfortable on the map. So get rid of that one. And then the DT3, I think, is a respect ban towards Michigan. And the Nomad 1 ban is kind of interesting here for Michigan. I really wasn't expecting that from them.
Yeah, Nomad 1, I mean, we have seen it banned a couple times. It is, I want to say it is a little bit specialist pilled, you know, not everyone going, usually Nomad 1, a slot that's super accessible to everyone, but this week some 250 BPM and not the most standard of the patterns, as it is Michigan's first pick. Set things up, and we should be good to go now for the stream, as long as the connection doesn't continue to shit itself.
You know, I've been having some like intermittent issues with like just general internet today as well. So I don't know what's happening, but surely it's just a coincidence. I feel like, because you're the only other person that that I've spoken to today that's had some kind of issues. And look at that, straight into the Nomad 4 pick here for Michigan. And this team is quite good on some of the more gimmickier stuff, especially these tech picks here like this Nomad 4. So I am quite intrigued to see how this one will go, because Indiana can play it probably decently well, but I think Michigan might actually just have the better team for this.
Yeah, the tech, interesting pick to start off with. I definitely think it's a bit of a coin flip, and it's really hard to tell who wins on these tech picks, as but especially the higher tier teams in Major League going to have lots of players who are really proficient. I think Memesicle and Twisty are going to be pretty good at it, as well as, I mean, just basically anyone really on the side of Michigan. But then on the side of Indiana, JT Cantwell pretty good at the tech as well. He does like it, and he does have pretty good supporting cast in the other bubble, and probably Unique also going to be a very strong pick for this one. So we'll see how that plays out in terms of their roster decisions. I do want to talk about a little bit about the picks and bans, as also kind of stealing my thunder. On Fortase. I wanted to point out he is the longest standing member when you typically equate Indiana with JT Cantwell, the current captain and the captain for the past couple years, but yeah, did beat me to that one.
Yeah, I think he was overranked for 5 digits come that 2023 year.
Yes.
So, but also, you know, it's just been a pillar for Indiana in general. Has been on the USC team. But, you know, not 5 digits, just the normal USC. Ever since 2020, which I think was his very first tournament too, and his second and his third.
Yeah. I remember looking at that the other day, and I think he all the way went back to 2017. No, since the team's inception.
No.
No.
Okay, so we didn't have a team in 2017. And the original team from 2018 was me, Froggy Fro, the Lone Piggy, and Unique.
Okay, so I am just
Unique. You know, yes. Unique.
Yes, we do. He's gonna be waiting in the wings as this first Nomad 4 plays out. It's gonna be JT Cantwell, the other bubble, the mainstay duo, of course, and the man who has been their third for a lot of these most maps in the past couple years. It's Super Alv 123 on the other side, Twisty and Memesicle, the ever-trusted two-man duo of Michigan as well. And it's going to be Atara, the newcomer, the 5USC rookie, although most definitely not a tournament rookie at this point in time. Already a champion in the world on the world stage. And he's going to be looking to show some chops. It's actually Twisty to find the only break at the moment very early on, so just that plus some accuracy differences giving a little bit of a lead to Indiana. But there goes Twisty again, dropping his combo in the middle of the map, getting caught off on some of these more tricky wiggle patterns. The bursts do get a little bit funky here, and they will catch him, and there goes Atara as well, so not the best of starts for Michigan as we finally make our way into the break.
Yeah, this break will give the players a chance to see how the scores look right now, and it's not that great looking for Michigan. However, Indiana, yes, they've got the 3 combos, but now they know that it's still like in their favor. But any of these combos dropping could definitely hurt them because there is the combos building back up for Michigan here. So Memesicle needs to continue to hold. That was a chain of 50s from Bubble, and here's a slider stream. Nobody breaks on it, but it is a double break from Indiana on JT and Super Alpha. So just like that, now the shift is going to start to go towards Michigan, but I don't know if it's going to be enough, Bless.
Yeah, and the ending of this map is really difficult. There's still a decent amount of combo density, but there's just so much of a lead that they have to work through. It was 300k earlier, and with Other Bubble holding on to his FC into the ending, I don't think there's quite going to be enough. There's the final burst, and yeah, did chip away at a lot of it, however, just around 200,000 score, 200,000 of that score gap closed, but Indiana with enough of a buffer. And they will find the first point on a big bit of break point. Yes.
I do believe that the stream is buffering so much. I think you are dropping a lot of frames.
Yes, I am.
Over on Twitch.
I do see that, and apparently
I
it's a
think
couple minutes
should we
behind.
try to should we try to restart the stream for that?
I think it's just my virtual cam that kills it. The OBS virtual cam. When I was streaming alone, I didn't have to have the virtual cam open for my other casters. But now that I have that open, it does seem to be just killing the internet.
You know what I could do is I could just open up the turning client myself, and you don't have to do the virtual cam.
Oh yeah, that would help a lot then. I guess we'll
let's try that.
Okay.
Just for the viewing experience.
Yes. And stopping the virtual cam and the Discord screen share. And we'll see if that fixes anything. It does look like it's improving a lot already. At least my stream speed is working on it. Seems to be improving.
That's good. Awesome.
Yep, up. I've doubled the kilobits per second. Doubled the bit rate. Still getting some drop frames though, as we are in the middle of some troubleshooting here live on stream.
Is it 5USC26? Is that the...
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Team size 3. Let's see how this works. That should hopefully make things a bit easier for you.
Yeah,
and for the viewers.
It has improved the bitrate a good bit from what I can see from my OBS. And it looks like we have... Please let us know in a couple minutes how it looks. And we do have a Hard Rock 2 pick coming through. And is a first pick for Indiana. Of course, you are sort of just picking around your captain this year. One roster swap from Indiana on this year compared to last year. No Shrek farm, so out with some of the DT and high AR stuff. Probably somewhat resulting in that DT3 ban, and in with Unique, who we did just mention, a bit of a pretty good reading player, but it's not really going to affect this pick in particular. This is probably just going to be JT Super Alv at +1, and it looks like that +1 is the Other Bubble. But yeah, you really are just picking around JT Cantwell here. He put on such a good performance in the round of 32. And oh, there we go. Finally, the virtual cam is off, and that should eventually stabilize things. I forgot to turn it off in Discord as well.
Yeah, no worries.
But
has the map just started on your end?
It has just started on my end.
Perfect, then we are synced.
All right. Yeah, picking into JT Cantwell after a really stellar performance on the Hard Rock 2 last weekend. Also, Michigan, a bit of a gimmick-filled team, especially with the Rising Star Atara. Really not... I mean, he enjoys the precision, but he's not necessarily the best at it. And we do see him stepping out for this one as I mean, he still does have Twisty and Soulboy to come in for this. Papa Flame going to be the third. Pretty decent fill on Hard Rock, but not quite the Hard Rock specialist. If anyone, it would be Soulboy to be the player to try and match JT in terms of raw firepower on this slot. We are into things already, and we are seeing a little bit of that in plays. Some early misses on Twisty and Papa Flame. Also early misses on the entire side of Indiana, actually, including that of JT Cantwell. So that does result in a slight lead towards Michigan as we build into the Ki section.
Yeah, actually, Indiana does have the combo advantage despite Soulboy still being on that FC. It's just the recoveries are better for Indiana. Oh my gosh, but as I say that, Soulboy does drop that combo, and so that score lead is on a knife's edge. Alva's going to be dropping theirs as well, so that is going to keep things from getting too far out of control here for Michigan, but still is anyone's game right now. Still, though, more misses on the side of Indiana.
Yeah, not happy to see that one as when the scoreline is so close like this. Even some very tiny breaks from the supporting combos can cause the difference. But there goes Twisty, and that's going to be a very big break. There goes Soulboy as well, and a couple misses as well, tanking his scores. JT Cantwell and the other bubble, the two-man duo, the 1-2 punch, the good cop and bad cop, holding into the ending. It's just Papa Flame on his small recovery to put up the last of resistance for Michigan, but they will be swiped away as Indiana do consolidate the break point on their first pick.
What's the ref for this match, by the way?
I think
You know?
it's let me look. It's Featherblade.
Featherblade. Okay.
Right. So the pick does go back to Michigan, and I think we finally have some time to talk about talk a little bit more about some of these bands, as I feel like we did gloss over them a little bit. Hidden 2, I really thought that other bubble, this would be right up his alley. You know, pretty good flowing player, really good Nomad 2 scores, of course, taking the FC into that NorCal roster, the tapping NorCal roster last year in semifinals, and getting Indiana point there. Of course, that was the 5WC tapping trio of Lethalene and Asa that he went up against, and did manage to get a really important point for Indiana. So I do know he's very proficient on the flowing and also very proficient on the hidden 2s. So a little bit surprised. To hear that he might have been struggling with that one.
Yeah, I mean, definitely is a little bit interesting here. But are going to be seeing Kotonoha Clinic come through? Is that correct?
Yeah, Kotonoha Clinic is the name of the song.
Yes.
And
because I did not have the maps downloaded in my tourney folder, so
yes. That's all good. Kotonoha Clinic by Sana. It's the easy one. And actually, both of these teams pretty good at easy, so I'm not super surprised to see this open. Kind of been looking forward to it, of course. Indiana having an open... I mean, it can't be put other way. You just have to say it's an open rank reading player.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
that is what is happening here.
They have an open rank reading player, and then they have the other bubble, and then they have, excuse me, whoever else they want from the roster. It does look like it's going to be JT Cantwell. Could probably Alf.
Oh! I think JT. Could be.
Yeah, I mean, JT is sitting in the lobby. I mean, there he goes. So it does look like it's probably, yeah, it is probably just going to be Super Alf here. But on the other side, of course, you have Beef Wellington, easy hidden flashlight leaderboard farmer aficionado, the man himself. And then also Twisty, probably a bit more known as an all-rounder with a tapping strength, some pretty good tapping hands, but also really good low AR player, as well as Memesicle, really good on low AR and hidden. We're not going to be seeing him in here. It is going to be Papa Flame to be the third, and is also pretty good at the easy mod. Lots of strong easy players on Michigan, and it is, of course, their pick. So don't want to give a second break pick over to Indiana so early in the match. I mean, of course, when you have something like a Seed 8 versus Seed 9 matchup, so many of these picks are expected to be very close. We'll see just how close.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm actually, you know, we did talk about how Indiana does have some pretty strong reading players on their teams, but I was in a VC with them a little bit earlier, and I did overhear them like really contemplating whether or not they should leave this open versus Michigan. Not because, you know, their good reading players can't play it, but because maybe their third couldn't play it. So is interesting that this is such an early pick here. So I think it might actually be a little bit volatile, but for the time being, I mean, they're doing pretty well going into the first KI.
Yeah, and it's actually Beef Wellington to find the first breaks from Michigan. Maybe feeling a little bit uncomfortable without his usual hidden on the easy mod. I did see just a very strange misaim, just going short of one of the notes earlier in the map for his first break. Not something you see a lot on easy, especially with the bigger circles. Usually, if you are misaiming, it's because of just a failure to process the hit objects correctly on the high density. But we are going to see Other Bubble traded out in the second KI, and that is a very small lead. Ever so small lead to Michigan. It's basically non-existent as Twisty still holding on to the SS. Gonna be meaning ever so slight accuracy advantage on the rest of the players, but there goes Beef Wellington again, flipping the score back in Indiana, but of course it's still so close. And like, when easy is left open in either of major or minor league, it usually is because both of the team, well, at least in major league, it's going to be because both of the teams can play it, and they think that it's something that they want to try and fight over and contest, and there's other things that are more worth banning. And you are seeing that play out with the score lead, even with Other Bubble trading back, delayed to Beef Wellington. The scoreline still super close, but there goes Super Alf, and that might be a bit of a turning point in this map here.
It might need to lock in here for Michigan. They do have the combos still going, but yeah, I mean, as you've been talking, there's been just a couple of really unfortunate misreads on Bubble, and Al finding that miss as well is just going to be sending that score quite heavily towards Michigan for the time being. Is still 2 FCs in the recovery. Never mind. Oh my gosh, it was 2 FCs. It's just going to be one miss, but it should still be in favor of Michigan. They do still have the combo advantage. So for the time being, it's still 90,000 points, give or takes, in favor of them. But yeah, I mean, the map is coming to an end here, Bless. I don't think that even if they miss, there would be enough time.
Yeah, and mind you, that's 90,000 points on the easy mod after all the scores in the lobby have been halved. So if you think about that in no mod terms, it's about just under 200,000 score. That is quite the big lead to try and chip away at when there's basically no map left. And yeah, we will see Michigan walk that ball into the goal as Twisty completing the FC. Going to be matched by Unique, who actually did have better accuracy, of course, showing why he does play reading up there in the open rank ranges.
Yeah, I mean, hey, this is what I was talking about earlier, Bless. You know, yes, Unique can FC this map like consistently every time. Sure. Yeah, Alv and Bubble have probably gotten FCs in practice, but they really just weren't certain that their scores would be good enough in match in order to back up Unique's score to secure a point here. And the fact stands, like, Michigan is a team that can play reading quite well. You just saw it. Twisty FC'd,
Yep.
Papa Flame almost nearly FCing. Beef Wellington, you know, despite having a very early miss, still got higher scores than, I think, or a higher score than both Alv and Bubble. So, you know, like, this team is a team that, you know, most teams wouldn't be picking easy into. But for a team like Indiana, I think they were just kind of praying that the scores came through, and unfortunately they didn't.
I mean, it is obviously an option for them to leave up the easy, and the fact that it is an option. It does say something about their strength as a team, as their strength as a reading team. Unfortunately, Michigan a bit stronger in that department, and we are going to be moving into a DT4 for the next pick. Some high AR
Wait.
slider gimmick.
Is it Indiana's pick? Did they not pick that easy? Am I confused?
Indiana did not pick that easy. That was Michigan's pick.
Then never mind. What did I think that was an Indiana pick? Of course it wasn't. Okay, we're good then.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was...
Yeah, I was just very confused.
Yeah. So it was first pick for Michigan, and they went with the Nomad 4 into Indiana's Hard Rock 2, and then, of course, both of those went to Indiana, then Michigan taking the easy one, and now we're going into DT4 pick for Indiana.
Alright. We're all caught up. I'm just a little confused here because I'm on the old OG turning client. I do not get the privilege of the Pixbands overlay. Well, I guess I could just pull up the ref sheet as I am currently clicking to do so.
Right. Well, it does look
no,
like...
I cannot pull up the ref sheet. Never mind.
Well, it does look like the stream issues have mostly settled down, so I think we'll be able to mostly focus on the broadcast now. I think we are. It's just a 2-minute delay because of all the buffering that happened earlier. But yeah, it sounds like everything has mostly stabilized. So yeah, it seems like hopefully we don't have to worry about that anymore. Maybe I'll get a ping later if something does happen. But for now, we do have this DT4 pick to talk about for Indiana. Of course, Michigan, quite a gimmick-heavy state. So Indiana going to pick it into some of those higher AR, more intense mechanical maps. And that does quite suit their strengths well, especially with Super Alv and JT. Of course, JT quite good, mostly known for his hard rock, also able to play the DT as well, of course, as those are adjacent skill sets, and Super Alv also very strong mechanics. It's going to be another bubble backing them up. I was expecting this to maybe be someone else, but maybe the gimmicky nature of this map with the sliders and all, it does mean he's more adept and a better choice. For Michigan, Papa Flame, Atara, and Twisty. Atara able to play the high AR, but not always the most comfortable on it. It's going to be probably mostly relying on Twisty and Papa Flame to put up the big scores. On this one, already Twisty finding an earlier break. It's going to be traded out by JT Cantwell in the Ki, but there goes Atara as well. And now it's 2 FCs to 1 Super Alpha and the Outer Bubble up against Papa Flame. And the score will start to go in favor of Indiana as we get over with this first Ki section.
Yeah, it is looking decent so far here. Despite a couple early misses from JT, still going to be one of the best acts in the lobby right now. Only bested by Papa Flame on the Michigan side. So still 2 FCs right now on the favor of Indiana, but these recoveries are building up for Michigan. So if either of those combos do drop, it can swing very quickly over the way of Michigan. I mean, they're only up 50,000 points in some change here for Indiana. And oh my gosh, that's going to be the miss coming through from Bubble. And so now Michigan is going to quickly be able to bring that score over, but not at the misses from Twisty and Atara. Bubble trading one of them again, but still, this is such a close map.
That's a bit of unfortunate for Michigan. They do still have the ever so slight accuracy advantages. There goes the Bubble. There goes Papa Flame on the FC, and I think that is going to be the fatal wound to put them down on this map. I wanted to point out earlier, they did have a very nice small accuracy advantage, and that was keeping the score lead in check, but now this is just going to grow out of control very quickly. JT Cantwell still in a very nice reverse choke there, as he will close it out for 730,000 score. Not quite the highest.
So tragic how that ended. Yeah. I feel like Michigan was primed to steal that point away from Indiana, but just a couple of unfortunate misses at the very end. That diff spike pattern got, I think, both Twisty and Papa Flame, I think, were on the... Yeah, Twisty was on the recovery and Papa Flame was FCing.
It was Twisty and Tara for double break on the bottom row, trading with Bubble, and then Papa Flame right after the break in the song.
I mean, either way, Indiana gets their own pick, or gets the point on their own pick, excuse me. So for Michigan, you know, like, that was a closer map than I think Indiana would have liked it to have been, despite getting the point. So it really shows you just like how even this matchup is, and like yes, they do have some players who are like specialists in certain skill sets, but so does the other team. So it's like who practiced more and who's feeling themselves better today. And right now, Indiana, I mean, they do have the single break point going their way. So Michigan, they are going to have to find that break point back at some point here. But for now, it's going to be Michigan's pick.
Yeah, and Michigan, of course, with the hidden 2 band, it is there is a bit of a question of where they want to go here. And as I say that, they do just bust out the Gnome on 5 quite quickly. Some CS 8.8 action, almost CS 9. And they will not be going for the hidden 3, which is I did kind of expect that. The hidden 3, a little bit of an easy map for this pool, very much so on the easier side. Maybe the easiest after the flex one. So yeah, probably not wanting to take that big of a gamble in this match, and instead it will be some precision.
Yeah, this is gonna be a little cute map here. Let me pull up the actual map stats.
Did you hear about the gimmick of this map?
I mean, it's 8.8, but no,
rather
tell me
the mapping gimmick. Okay, so I think you can see that
you start from the bottom, you go upwards.
You actually don't go all the way up. You're trapped entirely on the bottom half of the screen. All the hit objects are down there, and on top of that, you see in the background she's sort of laying down. The hit objects will blanket her from the underside.
Oh, very cute. Yeah, that's how oh goodness, what is it? The tipsters, or tipster, the dreamers. Oh gosh, let me find the map. It's a loved CS9 map, by. Well, I'll find it. Either way, the map is basically sectioned into 5 different sounding parts, and so each different sounding part, the mapper made all the notes be placed in different lines of the screen. So the bottom line of the screen was for the first part, and then it just slowly moved upward with each new section of the song.
Interesting gimmick, yeah. All right, well, speaking of gimmicks, we do have the players loading into this one. It's going to be, of course, JT in for some precision gaming. Going to be accompanied by Super Alvin, the other bubble. On the other side, Atara, of course, once again stepping out for the small circles. It's going to be Twisty, Memesicle, and Papa Flame. And this is going to be another close one. We have seen a lot of FCs, but of course, with such small circles, it's incredibly easy to miss. And so I do feel like it's the stronger the players in the lobby are, the more of a volatile pick this becomes. And speaking of volatility, there goes a double break from JT Cantwell and Super Alpha on those buzz sliders. He's so tight on the timing to hit those, and you have to hit them maybe even a little bit early in order to not get got by the reverse arrow timing. Fortunate start.
Looks like it was just Super Alv, actually. I think it was a Bancho break for the other player.
It does look like that. The correction.
It's still going to be in favor of Michigan, and I mean, heck, we're almost halfway over here, Bless. So the score is going to continue to climb because combo density-wise, like object density, there's really not much in this map.
Yeah, capping it around just around 450 to 500 combo total, and some big jumps to come here. Opportunity to break, but none of the players breaking. And I have said this a few times already this past weekend, the big jumps really are not the hard part of this map. Especially with the low AR, and follow points, it's very easy to just follow the big spacing and be prepared, especially at 80 BPM. And then the more difficult parts are these smaller spacings, especially when there's ever so slight changes in the spacing. Those will catch out JT. Going to be traded out by delayed by Memesicle and Twisty as well, as Papa Flame the only combo remaining, but this map has already reached its conclusion. Papa Flame going to be closing out an FC match by the other bubble, but the supporting scores, the FC chokes from Twisty and Memesicle, going to be more than enough for Michigan to take this in quite a comfortable manner, as Indiana unfortunately finding some breaks earlier on in the map and then again in the back half.
Yeah, I feel like against most teams, like this team score from Indiana is actually
Yeah.
more than enough to easily get the point. But yeah,
Mhm.
Michigan, I mean, like look at these scores. You already mentioned it, but like Papa Flame FCing, barely almost missing the FCs on both Twisty and Memesicle. Like yeah, that team score is not getting beaten by, I would argue, any team in the tournament
It's
this weekend.
definitely going to be incredibly difficult. We'll have to see the
So.
stats sheet, which should be out in a couple days' time, as we still have a match tomorrow and a match later tonight.
I did find the map that I was talking about. It is Dream Stirs, the artist being Tipper, and the mapper Drim. It is loved, and it is very much worth a play, or at the very least, a look through in the editor, because it is just a work of art.
Yeah, and it seems like Unique did put that one in the chat as soon as you mentioned it.
Shout outs, Unique. I appreciate you, my goat. With the elite ball knowledge, I was spending a little bit extra time looking for that. I will not lie.
Yeah,
I couldn't
saw
remember how
messages,
the map name was,
yeah.
so I just looked CS equals 9 and then loved and found it that way.
Yeah. I did see the message earlier, but did not connect the dots. We do get the dots eventually connected, as Indiana going to be looking to connect some dots on this Nomad 3 is their next pick. And I was going into this match thinking the control skill sets would be more in favor of Michigan, but after the win on the Nomad 4, maybe ever so slightly in the favor of Indiana, but of course it's still so hard to tell, and these margins of victory are so slim between these two teams. I've beaten this horse to death at this point, but Seed 8 versus Seed 9, of course. Such a close matchup.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, this should be one of the closest matches here in this weekend. Actually, probably, like, on paper, this is going to be the closest match between the teams this weekend. So, right now, slight advantage towards Indiana, but that could change at any moment, as Michigan just needs one breakpoint to tie things back up. So, there's still time to recover that breakpoint here. I'm not sure if it's going to be happening on this Nomad 3, but Michigan can play the Nomad 3s quite well, so very easily could happen here.
Yeah, for sure. Although one thing I will want to say about Nomad 3s in general, usually very difficult to find multiple FCs if only a single, much less a single FC. Even for some major league teams, especially in the later stages, usually one of those slots that you see the average score drop on quite quickly as the rounds go on. And unless you do have that player who is just that guy on the Nomad 3 alts. And I will say, Indiana, I do believe they do have someone who is that guy, and we're looking at him in the bottom right of your screen, the other bubble, the notorious TOB. Some very strong alt scores throughout history. Very good at the slot. Going to be accompanied by JT Cantwell and Super Alps and a couple more very competent players on the other side. It's going to be Memesicle, Silboy, and Twisty to try and put up a fight here, but the presence of like playing Nomad 3 into the other bubble is definitely a tough prospect, and I can kind of see why Indiana would feel more comfortable on this compared to, or even despite Michigan picking in the Nomad 4 earlier.
Yeah, no, I mean, this pick makes a lot of sense for them here. Already off to a little bit of a rough start for a couple players, just dropping some accuracy pretty heavily, but also Alv and Memesicle going to be trading out on combos about the same time as each other. So yeah, accuracy. I think we haven't really touched on that too much here, but with this map being pretty swing heavy, accuracy does tend to drop for a lot of the players here. So is going to matter quite a bit in terms of the final scoring here, on top of being able to combo. Like, you can combo, but you will drop AC if you don't try to hit the notes properly. So
yeah, fortunately, one thing that is working in their favor is the OD 7.5, but even still, and we might just have to forget about accuracy for a little, because that's a really big double break from Twisty and Memesicle right before this Ki section. Excuse me, as Indiana going to be looking to run out to an early lead here. As there goes Soulboy as well, the last FC on the side of Michigan. Downed, traded out by GT Cantwell, but other bubble still on that FC, the man in your bottom right. Super Alv on a very nice recovery as well. Reverse choke. And all eyes are going to be on other bubble for this next bit of the map, as a little bit of flow section here, and not going to be catching him out. And there really is... So there's going to be this little section here into a shorter second Ki, and then there is going to be some time if you can hold through there to build up a little bit of, I almost want to say, free combo.
Yeah, I mean, just continue to hold on to these big combos here, and the score will continue to go further and further in the direction of Indiana. There's still half a map left to be played, though, so, you know, breaks can happen. And the recoveries are definitely starting to build up for Michigan as well. So, you know, it's 320,000 points in favor of Indiana right now. If Michigan wants to get this back, they do need to see those breaks come from Indiana, like, immediately, or else it's too little too late at this point.
Yeah, 350,000 is a lot on no mod, mind you, and these combos are getting quite big. The other bubble quickly approaching 1,000, and I think this might be sealed as we are finally reaching that calm free combo section I mentioned earlier. Other bubble and Super Alf safely making it through the second Ki, and now they are reaping their rewards. This Twisty, I mean, other side for Michigan also going to be holding on to some very nice combos, but there goes Silboy as well in one of the bigger flow patterns. There goes other bubble, however, but the score lead is already 500,000. Even if Super Alf were to break here, I don't know if there's enough time.
Yeah, no, I believe the time has come and it has gone. This is going to be the point for Indiana here. 500,000 points is far too much to get back, even in like the back half of a map.
Yeah.
At least in the back quarter, let alone this little amount of time remaining. So Indiana are going to be putting up a 4th point on the board here on their own pick. Michigan still down that 1 break point. Do need to get that back, but for now, will be their pick next here, so we do get to deliberate a little bit about that, and oh my gosh, that pattern destroyed everyone but Alv and Bubble, so, well, these are some good scores coming through here for Indiana.
Yeah. And it's not even the other bubble as the highest score in the lobby. It's Super Alv on a reverse choke. 1283 combo and 800,000 score on the no mod 3. Incredible work from him. And that is an incredible team score, my goodness. 2 600Ks and the 800K from Super Alv. As Indiana do go up 4 points to 2. And, I mean, Michigan, you said they will have a couple more opportunities to try and take things back, but it is really only a couple more opportunities. It feels like the matches are longer, especially with the best of 11 format starting from this round. But Indiana already 2 points away from victory, 1 point away from match point. Michigan do have to try and get that breakpoint back soon, and they most definitely cannot be dropping their own picks.
That is for sure. Cannot afford to lose any more points here as we do await the next pick for Michigan. We'll have to come through, or excuse me, for Michigan. We'll have to come through here pretty soon, I do imagine, and the timer is starting to run a little bit low, but yeah, I'm curious to see exactly what they are feeling right now. Is there anything available in the hidden pool still? Oh, never mind. It's gonna be DT2. There we go.
Okay. All right.
But DT2? Question mark?
I mean, this is something new. We haven't seen just raw tapping yet in this match. The No Mod 4, a load of tapping adjacent techie stuff, but into some 240 BPM burst speed with a little bit of aim sprinkled in as well. I do think this is in some ways a better test of actual in-lobby performance than the DT3. The DT3 being higher BPM and more of a raw tapping check, but if you can match that, it is pretty combo gameable. This map a little bit less so with the aim sections to catch you out. If you're just focused on trying to mash through the bursts, then your cursor won't be ready to move, and neither will your muscles as you're so tensed up from trying to just combo game the tapping parts. I do think this is a pretty good pick from Michigan looking at Indiana's tapping roster. JT Cantwell, notably, and I believe the other bubble as well, right around that 240 BPM range is where they start to fall off. on their high BPM tapping. So this is going to be
Yeah,
a bit of a question if they're
not
able to
sure
play
where
it.
the threshold is. Yeah, I'm not fully sure exactly where it starts getting too uncomfortable for them. But I do know that this map should not be that big of an issue for Indiana. So that's the only reason why I am slightly confused here for as to why this was picked. But actually, it looks like we're not gonna be seeing JT Cantwell in, and that might just be because can't necessarily play this high of a
Yeah.
BPM. So as you mentioned, so instead going to be Super Alvin Fortisite in the lobby here. And Fortisite absolutely can play this kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
of course.
It's just going to be a question of how much combo can Super Alf get, because Super Alf good at comboing, not known necessarily for having the best of acts. So that is going to be key here for Indiana.
Yeah, and the other bubble as well, I'm a little bit worried about his BPM cap. Also interesting to not see Marvin Frags in the lobby for Indiana. Not sure what's going on with him. Maybe if you have something you could share.
He's there.
All right, well, maybe just...
yeah,
right.
not in for anything yet. I don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah, well, for the other side, we do have Tara in, able to successfully combo this. Not necessarily known for his tapping, but he is pretty good, despite what people think, and it's going to be him accompanied by Twisty and Memesicle. Unfortunately, Atara will be the first to fall on the side of Michigan, getting quickly followed by Twisty, and those are some pretty bad breaks as there goes Memesicle as well, right at the start of the intense section. Indiana still to hold the combos on Super Alf and Fortisite still holding on. There goes the other bubble. But this is quickly going into a score lead for Indiana, and a lot of the meat and potatoes of this map is in that first half. Just a bit of a shorter Ki section, or not even a Ki section, just a little bit short of a bit of a difficult passage, I would say, into the ending, and that will come after this little 1/3 section. But there goes Fortisite with a surprising slider break. And I think that's not even Banjo. Yeah, that's a real miss.
Right now, though, it's just the one combo. Make that 0 now. Full combos, excuse me. It's going to be Bubble versus Memesicle on the recoveries, but 300,000 points almost in favor of Indiana right now after that early breaks from Michigan, and the map's over, bless.
Yeah, and they needed Atara to hold on at the end. Even then, I'm not sure if it would have been enough, but especially with this 300k scoreline at the moment. And Michigan, we did just say not allowed to drop any more break points, and then there they go, dropping one right away.
It's a little unfortunate, bless. It absolutely is. But this pick, I feel like, was just Indiana favored. I mean, definitely an underperformance, I feel like, from Michigan. They do quite well on the mechanics as well. But just didn't look that good here, unfortunately for them. So the misses just coming in at inopportune times, and there were misses coming through for Indiana as well, but just a little bit easier comboing going on for them. So Indiana now match point 5-2, and it's their own pick. This is a scary spot to be in for Michigan, because not only is it match point for Indiana, Michigan still now is down 2 break points that they will have to get back here. So they would have to win this pick, and then win their own, and then win another Indiana pick in order to take us to tiebreaker. It's possible, but it does make it that much harder.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road ahead of them, especially with Indiana looking quite in control of this match at this moment in time. The two most gimmicky of the reading picks are either picked or banned already. The easy one and Hidden 2 gone from the pool, and then Indiana winning on the No Mod 3 alt, the high AR DT4, and the Precision Hard Rock 2. The only other point that Michigan has gotten, of course, is that No Mod 5, but that is a one-off pick, and it's very difficult to see where Michigan has some real estate to work with, as Indiana maybe having a little bit of... I don't want to say they're having a little bit of fun with this one, as I do think they are just... Well, they do have a bit of an edge on the mechanics, and this is going to be quite a good pick for them.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be solid for them indeed. I do agree. Granted, we are on the force mod here, so you do have to have everybody on a mod, and those mods, out of those mods, you do have to have at least one Hard Rock player. Of course, Indiana's probably gonna play JT Cantwell on that, but I'm not familiar with who the Hard Rock specialist is for Michigan. Do you happen to know that information here, Bliss?
I think it would either be Silboy or Papa Flame for that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Silboy.
Alrighty.
Last year, forced to play Hidden, but if I'm remembering correctly, he does prefer to play Hard Rock. But sort of does just fill everything for this team as they need it. Going to be a little bit of a less of a need for that this year with how they have spread their wings and bolstered the roster. Of course, Michigan OSU tournaments past couple years doing wonders for their local scene. Past couple years are the first years they're able to put together 2 minor league teams, by the way. They have both a B team and a C team. Did not exist prior to last year, if I'm recalling correctly. I did take a look at that just the other day, but I'm pretty sure on that. Maybe they might have had a B team in 2022, but that would have been the extent of things.
How about that? Either way, we're going to get underway with this Force Mod now. Looks like it's going to be Papa Flame, as you predicted here on the Hard Rock for Michigan. JT Cantwell, of course, on the Hard Rock, and then double hidden for Super Alv and Bubble on Indiana, and Twisty Memesicle going to be the double hidden for Michigan. Yeah, what else? Like, this is comfort mods, at least on the hiddens, for these players. And the comfort mod for the Hard Rock on JT and Papa Flame. So, yeah, this should be good in terms of, like, nobody is super uncomfortable on the mods that they're playing. However, this is Indiana's pick. And so, again, I feel like we do continue to have to mention it's do or die for Michigan right now. Well, not do or die. Like, they will just drop the loser's bracket if they lose. But in order to beat Indiana, you have to win every pick from here on out.
Yeah. Question before we get too deep into this map. Unique Easy, do you have any comms on that one?
Unique Easy? The dude would probably FC, yes. But I'm not sure if he practiced. That's the thing.
I see.
Because it is a little bit of a higher BPM.
Yeah, it is pretty dense.
Unique is pretty skill capped when the BPM gets above like 200.
I see. Fortunate to hear that news. Also a bit of an unfortunate miss for JT, but of course he is on that Hard Rock. It was traded with a hidden miss from Memesicle earlier, and this map is really Hard Rock sided. What else would it be than 2 hidden players to support the lone Hard Rock on each side? As we approach that first Ki, holding with bated breath for any more misses as Indiana ever so slight combo edge or score edge. But here we go into the actual part of the Ki, the build up over. Papa Flame and Twisty still holding on to their FCs, and Memesicle finally coming in with a nice recovery. But as I say that, there goes Papa Flame. And the Hard Rock starting to pick up in difficulty here as the map goes on.
Yeah, I mean, that miss is so unfortunate because it's about a third of the way through. It doesn't cap the score that badly. JT Cantwell going to be finding another break, though. It's going to keep things from getting out of control again here for Indiana. But the fact still stands. It's 1 FC to 2 right now in favor of Indiana. So Michigan is going to start to be on the back foot quite a bit here if these combos hold through this section. And they do. So now it's a little bit of free combo here.
Yeah, and it's not just that. We're looking at Papa Flame versus JT on the Hard Rock 1v1. Papa Flame all the way down at 92% axe. So despite JT continuing to drop his combo, the score still staying in favor of Indiana. Of course, in combination with that 2-1 FC advantage. But there that goes. Is other bubble to drop, but just going to be trade back right away by Twisty. And there's Memesicle in the 1v1 against Super Alpha on the hiddens. Papa Flame versus JT Cantwell, but Papa Flame, despite the accuracy disadvantage, does have a lead in the combo at the moment, slightly making up for the deficiency in Memesicle's combo. As we go barreling towards this break, the score lead still so close, not even 50k in either way.
It's still going to be slightly favoring Indiana here with the full combo still on Alv, but you do have to continue to hold on to the combo. I mean, look at the axe for these players. It's only 92 on Papa Flame, but with Alf being the sole combo for Indiana, the 95% axe would hurt if he misses it. What was that? Wait a minute. Oh my god, what just happened? No.
Combos just evaporate. It's JT Cantwell, another bubble. The only recovers in the lobby against Twisty's sole recovery from Michigan. What was that? All the biggest combos just in the blink of an eye. Thanos snapped out of this world.
Yeah, I don't know, Bless.
And we might have come to a bit of a comical ending to this map, despite what we might have expected for the matchup, as Indiana going to be running away with the combo leads into the ending, and we are basically at the end of things. Today will not be the day for Michigan, and a couple unfortunate dice rolls, things not quite going their way here and there, and that's all it can take to tip such a close matchup crazily into what looks like a crazily dominant scoreline of 6-2 from Indiana. But at the end of the day, that is what we are sitting with, as Indiana going to be taking this last point after a little bit of turbulence throughout, and moving on to the upper bracket quarterfinals.
Yeah, Michigan still in the tournament though. Despite losing this, it was a closer match. All things considered here, I mean, just like 150,000 on this pick, a couple of closer points almost up to the very end as well. So this is a strong team dropping to the losers bracket. Whichever team lost this match, it would have been a scary team in the losers bracket this early on. So regardless, Michigan, they are just going to be in that losers bracket, so they're still in the tournament. And whoever they have to go against, I feel like will be not necessarily as difficult as maybe this matchup versus Indiana was, but they played their hearts out, and credit where credit's due. They did get some fantastic scores here. So Indiana moving forward in the winners bracket into the quarterfinals. But yeah, that's it for this match here. Bless, any closing words?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to point out that for anyone, and it does look like we're going to see a tiebreaker showcase. So we will be delaying the end of things for that, as
I cannot be here for that. Unfortunately, I do have things to take care of, but it's been a blast.
Yeah, of course, always enjoy casting with you
later. Take care, you guys.
Farewell. But yeah, I wanted to point out, for anyone who just looks at the scoreline in the match results later, that is going to be incredibly deceiving. 6-2 most definitely does not tell the full story of this match's. I mean, I can't even count how many of these maps went down to the last just 1 or 2 breaks, down to the wire. 100k gap on the No Mod 4. Looking back at things, 200k gap on the Hard Rock 2, 90k gap on the Easy. That was decided very near the end, almost very close throughout. The DT4 a little bit more dominant for Indiana, but still the biggest score gap in this match coming by the way of 600k on the No Mod 3 by way of Other Bubble and Super Alf sort of doing their things on their specialist skill sets. Yeah, all the other maps incredibly close, and not even just in the scorelines, but also in how each of the maps themselves played out. Yeah, we're gonna be seeing with a tiebreaker fun here, and it does seem like they were asking for Unique to get in here. Marvin Frags is all making an appearance, unable, unfortunately, to play any of the maps so far, or any of the maps in this match. Jeez, what am I saying? And unfortunately, we'll not be seeing Unique, but we do get to see Beef Wellington busting out his specialty, the Easy Hidden. Unfortunately, not able to see the flashlight. I don't know if that was readily available to him, or if he just simply decided not to pick that one up. But we will get... I do wonder what the easy multiplier is for this one, and we'll have to check the main sheet for that one. But yeah, for now, And this is a 2.3x easy multiplier. Of course, no separate multipliers for easy hidden. And it's not just the easy. Oh my god, I've just totally missed this. It's Twisty on an easy as well. What do we have for Michigan here? This is going to be a fun one. Lots of... Yeah, if anyone had any questions remaining by what we meant when we said Michigan is a gimmick state, I mean, just look at this on full display at the moment. Beef Wellington, easy hidden, Twisty on the easy on a tiebreaker. And they're doing quite well for themselves up until now. I mean, they did have some pretty good combos. It's just finally starting to struggle a little bit with the patterns and the density. But still, already 100,000 raw score for Beef Wellington, and right behind him, 70k for Twisty. Probably wouldn't have seen these mods had this match gone to tiebreaker. Twisty writing out Beef, of course, for his teammate right below him there, Beef Wellington. Hidden easy, very rare skill set, very, very rare mod combination. Usually only seen in incredibly gimmicky tournaments, maybe the Hubba's Hidden Hoopla or the Easy World Cup. And maybe, I guess you see it a couple times every now and then on the free mods in the United States Cup, up there in the open rank range. Or I guess it's not technically open rank range, as you have to beat 15k or above to play there. But yeah, we have seen a fair share of easy hiddens upstairs in USC on the free mods, but not really seen in 5USC. Always a joy when it does come on. Because I think most people are going to be looking at the left side of their screens, enjoying the sight to behold. And might I point out, Beef Wellington on the easy hidden actually outperforming Twisty on the easy without the hidden. Like, I mean, yeah, this guy farms easy hidden flashlight leaderboards. This is what he plays. Fortunately, even with the multipliers, just some bigger raw scores coming out on the side of Indiana. So maybe we would have seen one or two of these mod combinations. Maybe wouldn't have. Maybe I mean I wouldn't have been too surprised to see Beef Wellington in for this one if he's putting up nearly 250k raw easy hidden score on the tiebreaker. Like, that is basically a 500k no mod, and on top of that you get the easy multiplier of 2.3x. So that would have been quite a good score regardless. Probably around 650k or so. Maybe into 700k, I'm not quite sure, but yep. Just a little fun for this one. Michigan getting a chance to show off. And close matchup, but unfortunately not getting to quite see everything these teams have to offer, and it will be going the way of Indiana as they move on in the upper bracket. Their opponents will be it's going to be New York next week. New York looking a little bit weakened without more. Of course, their star player. Dropping 4 points against the 16th seed Ohio, so definitely looking like they can bleed, and an Indiana team looking pretty strong, of course, as they usually do. Some potential for upset. As for Michigan, they will be dropping down into the lower bracket, where they'll be facing off against, let me see here, 26 is going to be Stateless A. So should be a pretty comfortable bracket ahead of them. Of course, 8th seed will put them in quite a nice position regardless of who their opponents are down there. But for now, that will be all for me. I've been blessed. Of course, Liliana, my co-caster, having to step out a little bit earlier. But that will be all for us. Thank you for joining. We do have one more match tomorrow, Wednesday, 1 UTC, and then we'll finally be done with the round of 16. Of course, quarterfinals pool already out in sheet. Go ahead and enjoy that, practice that. It is ready for you to play and enjoy as you prepare for your matches this coming weekend. But for now, that will be all from me. Thank you oh so very much for watching, and have a very good night. I'll see you next time. Peace.